So it literally rained on Trump's parade over the weekend. I totally checked out of news and politics starting like right after we finished the July 3rd show. Didn't pay attention to anything until last night when I started preparing for today's show. But I did hear from friends that it rained and it poured during Donald Trump's very absurd kind of dictator-esque military parade involving tanks and so many other things. But the real hilarity was actually in Donald Trump's speech, where he said lots of things that just made no sense whatsoever. This is just the funniest, dumbest thing, which tells us that Donald Trump is ignorant, not just on the big stuff, relationships between countries and issues of foreign policy and trade and economics and social issues and on and on and on and on. He's also ignorant just about basic human timelines, in a sense. Donald Trump, in a speech meant to, I guess, be inspiring, called the salute to America on the 4th of July, mentioned the heroic Continental Army taking over, yes, airports during the Revolutionary War for independence from England. And of course, there were no planes or airports in the 1700s, but that, I guess, doesn't really matter. Check this out, and the explanation, which I'll play for you later, is even funnier.
The Continental Army suffered a bitter winter of Valley Forge, found glory across the waters of the Delaware, and seized victory from Cornwallis of Yorktown. Our Army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry.
Yeah, what on earth is this guy talking about? Airports in the 1700s. I received a really funny email about this from Gordon. Gordon said, "Dear David, I'm a 325-year-old air traffic controller, and I wish to protest that nobody told me that there was a job for me at any of the multitudes of airports in the USA in the 18th century. In order to make ends meet, I was forced to drive a tank at the Battle of Yorktown, whilst my brethren flew supersonic jet fighters from the nearby nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. If I had known about these airports, I would have jumped into my Tesla to get to the ATCO recruitment office in Trump Tower. Best wishes, Gordon Bain." So the explanation from the Trump administration is that the teleprompter was faulty for a moment. Now, that's funny because that could mean two different things. Are they saying that a faulty teleprompter incorrectly added a line about Revolutionary War era airports? That would be a weird thing. Like normally when things glitch, they don't put up coherent language that points to inaccurate historical assertions. That would be a weird sort of glitch for a teleprompter. The other explanation is the teleprompter glitched in the sense that Trump had to ad-lib briefly, and what Trump ad-libbed was that there were airports in the Revolutionary War. Another really strange moment was where Trump was praising American inventors, and he mentioned the Scottish-born Canadian citizen inventor Alexander Graham Bell. Check this out.
Our quest for greatness unleashed a culture of discovery that led Thomas Edison to imagine his light bulb, Alexander Graham Bell to create the telephone, the Wright brothers to look to the sky and see the next great frontier. For Americans, nothing is impossible.
So really strange to talk about how great Americans are at inventing stuff on the 4th of July and mention Alexander Graham Bell, who, of course, was Scottish and moved to Canada, where he was a citizen when he invented the telephone. Again, this did not seem to be a teleprompter glitch. It actually seemed to be part of the script or Donald Trump ad-libbing himself, both of which raise a number of questions. Another embarrassment, and as a reminder, because so much of this is related to teleprompters failing or Trump reading strange things from the teleprompter, remember what Donald Trump thought about Barack Obama's use of a teleprompter? One example from 2012 when Donald Trump tweeted, "Why does Barack Obama always have to rely on teleprompters?" Many other such examples. Of course, Donald Trump, the guy in the glass house throwing stones, his teleprompter reportedly glitching. And suddenly Trump thinks there were airplanes and airports in the 1700s. Here's Donald Trump blaming the teleprompter.
Give a little appreciation. The media, generally speaking, loved it. They loved the evening. We had a lot of rain. I stood in the rain. The teleprompter went out. So I had... Yeah, the teleprompter went out. It kept going on. And then at the end, it just went out. It went kaput. So I could have said, and actually right in the middle of that sentence, it went out. And that's not a good feeling.
This guy's just the funniest, isn't he, despite himself, Trump? If it weren't so embarrassing internationally, day after day after day, he has no fun. For a guy with no sense of humor whatsoever, he is inadvertently funny in ways that he can't even understand. A president should not get so confused by a teleprompter going out that he starts saying there were airports in the 1700s, right? Is it too much to just expect some basic knowledge? If, quote, the prompter went out and Trump mentioned that the Civil War was ultimately decided by who had the better internet technology, would we accept that and say, the teleprompter went out? Of course he said the internet technology at the time determined the winner of the Civil War. No, we wouldn't accept it, and this is just as stupid. One of today's sponsors is Impeach the Card Slap Game. You can't slap Donald Trump in real life, but you can slap him in this hilarious, fast-paced two-player card game. And you can get it for 10% off when you go to davidpakman.com/impeach. Impeach the Card Game is awesome for parties or when you're having a few drinks. I've been playing it with some friends of mine. It combines clever satire about the Trump administration with really funny, high-quality cartoon artwork, all in a very lively card game that's easy to learn, but it stays interesting every time you play it because of how well designed it is and how much thought went into the humor and the political commentary. Impeach the Card Slap Game is perfect if you're looking for something fun and casual to do with your politically minded friends or family members. It'll make a perfect gift for anyone you know who has a sense of humor about Donald Trump. Don't forget that Father's Day is coming up. And when you go to davidpakman.com/impeach, not only will you get 10% off the game, you can also get 10% off all of the other hilarious clothing and accessories in their online store. T-shirts, coffee mugs, tote bags featuring funny political cartoons about Trump that you can't find anywhere else. Get a super fun, witty gift for yourself or someone you know, whether it's Impeach the Card Slap Game or anything else in the gift shop, and get 10% off all of it when you go to davidpakman.com/impeach.